What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nat Family Racing. We are indoors today. I had every intention of going out into the shop, finishing up the right side of the car, getting it all sanded down, beating out the door panels and getting them sanded down as well. Possibly even getting started on the roof or the hood. But Mother Nature had other plans. The wind that's going on outside right now, I'm pretty sure it cuts you in half, and it packs a punch behind it too. I was out there earlier, and one of those big gusts came ripping through the shop and brought with it a typhoon of leaves. So being out there today just didn't seem like it was going to be productive or very feasible. So I just looked, and I believe the last video I posted was my 110th video that I've made on this race car and for this journey that we've been on. And in the early stages, if you've been here since the beginning or pretty close to the beginning, you may have seen it, or if you've gone back to the archives, it's possible that you saw it. I did a video where I kind of sat down and introduced myself to everybody who may not have known me at the time. And we've grown literally almost 10 times, maybe more. We've grown a bunch since that last video. And I figured it might be a good idea to sit down and kind of redo that video, as far as letting you guys know who I am, what this journey that I'm on is, why I'm on it, and little ins and outs and things like that. And more so for me, it's just so I can kind of have the little bit of fun of going back and watching that first video after I make this, and just see how much the goals or what I'm looking forward to have changed with all this growth, and with my own personal growth and the growth of the program. I just think it'd be a fun little thing for me to kind of have. So we'll start off. My name's Dylan Knapp. You guys may have seen it on the rail of the door. I am gonna be 30. Yeah, that's rough to say. Gonna be 30 next month. I live in North Carolina. I was born in California, grew up, did all of my schooling in California. Spent time in Nevada, and then spent like 6.5 years-ish in Colorado before going back to California for, I don't know, 11 months-ish, maybe a year. And then I moved out to North Carolina with my lovely wife. We've been here for roughly around 3 years. But that's kind of my bio right there, I guess. I've been around racing pretty much since the day I was born. I went to my first race at 4 days old, and I can't be for certain, but I'm pretty sure that's when the bug bit me, because I don't really remember a time in my life where I wasn't all about racing. Through elementary school, you know, the career days and the what do you want to be when you grow up projects come. It really went back and forth between I wanted to be Michael Jordan or I wanted to be a race car driver. And both of those answers made most of my teachers go, you don't want to pick something else, like maybe a police officer or a fireman or anything like that? Nope. All the love and respect in the world to the guys who that's what they wanted to be when they grew up. But from 4 days old, I knew that I wanted to be holding a steering wheel. If you would have asked, 5-6-year-old me who was writing, I'm going to be a race car driver when I grow up, I think that I probably would have said that I would be at a higher level than I am now. But sorry, little man, bills don't pay themselves. So that's kind of where I come from, and a little tidbit about myself. My number. Let's go off of my number. So my number is 94. It's always been 94. It'll always be 94. If I'm in a race car, there will be a 94 somewhere on it. Even if I'm getting paid to drive somebody else's equipment sometime in the probably very far off future, if ever, I will at least have a little sticker made and put a 94 on that car somewhere. I think that numbers are important. It's kind of, it goes hand in hand with driver identity. And most drivers don't just put a bunch of numbers into a hat and pull one out and go, yep, that's my number. They all kind of mean something to us. And my number is kind of adjacent, I guess, to the meaning. So my grandpa, the one who gave me my love for racing, at 4 days old, I was going to watch him race. He was number 19. I was born in 1994. So his number and my number put together makes my birth year. It's kind of my way to adjacently pay homage to him. I want the 19 to kind of be his legacy. I didn't want to make my car 19 and then kind of build off the shoulders of that. I wanted the 19 to be his legacy, and I wanted the opportunity to create my own legacy next to that with the 94. And so that's kind of why the 94 means so much to me, is that every time that I get into, a car where I'm climbing over the door of the 94, there's a little piece that is, there'll always be a 19 in front of that. So with that, I guess we can kind of get into the why do I race, or why do I want to have race cars and have a racing program, things like that. I mean, first and foremost, childhood dream. Not everybody gets a chance to live those out. Be that it may be small scale now. I get to do that in some facet. Also, it gives me a chance to kind of be that person that I looked up to as a kid. Being at the racetrack, going into the pits after the races, I would make sure that I wore a white t-shirt so I could have all the drivers sign my white t-shirt like it was the last day of elementary school. And there was drivers who I would go to the races every week or every couple of weeks. I probably had the same drivers sign 5 different shirts and the little hero cards that they would give out. And those were my guys. Like local short track series most definitely had a regular 9-to-5 style job, and were just a bunch of weekend warriors who wanted to come out and race their cars and drink beer in the pits after with their buddies. Those, you couldn't tell me that wasn't, they weren't gods or kings at 5 through 11, and probably even further into that. So I get to kind of, in some ways, follow those footsteps and be that guy. I mean, I've been to hundreds of racetracks, thousands of races. Never once have I been to one where there wasn't a kid sitting on the backside of the bleachers using a shoe or a rock or an empty soda bottle to carve out and smooth out a piece of dirt that he could turn into a racetrack and play with his little cars in. That was me. If my grandpa wasn't on the track, I was behind the bleachers making my own racetracks, and I'd bring my own little race cars. And so to have the ability to inspire the next generation of racers like I was inspired. Really, the reason I want to race is because the sport has given so much to me. It only feels right that I should do my best to give back to that sport. And the only way that I can give back to it is to, one, be a part of it, and two, when people are excited about it or have questions about it, never feel like it's inconvenient. Even if I have 101 things going on, I will always stop and talk to somebody about racing, whether it's my program or something on Flow or the latest NASCAR race, whatever it is. If you want to talk racing, buddy, I've got all the time in the world. The 101 things that I've got going on can wait. And so just being able to even talk to the younger kids at the racetrack, things like that, let them sit in the car, just all the things that I had the privilege of doing that really just engraved how great racing and the community around racing is in me when I was a very young child. To have the opportunity to be a part of the person holding the chisel, it feels special to me. I would say that it's also kind of a legacy deal, where I want, racing in my family to continue. But like I said, I could win the Daytona 500, Indianapolis 500, the Knoxville Nationals, and the Eldora Million, back it up with the Chili Bowl, and win at the Dome all in the same year. And I'm still going to tell you that the greatest race car driver that ever lived is my grandpa. That's just, so I don't even want to say that I'm building on a legacy, because I'm not. I don't have a chance to. I just have to start my own and hope that it pans out. Which would kind of lead to all of that being fine and dandy, but why do I record it? Like, what is the point of me making these videos? That is a great question. I don't know that I have as elaborate of an answer for that, but being that most of my family is still on the West Coast, whether that be in California or Oklahoma or Texas or Arizona, that side of the world, like, I'm way over here kind of on an island. And you guys know as well as I do, in the hustle bustle busyness of life, it's sometimes hard to check in with people who aren't very close to you in proximity. So I started this as a way to be like, hey, family and friends who are 3,000 plus miles away, this is what I'm up to. We got a race car. Check out all the cool stuff that I get to do to it. I want my family and friends to be able to come to the races and hang out and support me. It's just not super feasible, obviously, being this far away. So next best thing is put a video out. Now that's still the core, is these videos are for my family, friends, and everybody and anybody who's interested in what we've got going on here. I make this for you guys. It's also, it helps keep me accountable. If I say I'm going to do something and it's on one of these videos, I'm gonna have to do it. And luckily enough for me, I haven't really said anything that I wasn't already in the works of doing. But I'm just like you guys. I get home after a long day of work. I might just want to kick my shoes off and lay on the couch. Because sometimes I'm exhausted. But in the last video, I told you guys that on that day, we were gonna go out there and do X, Y, and Z. Well, there is a chance that somebody watching these videos goes, man, that's gonna be sweet. I can't wait for him to do that. And then they spend that day waiting for that notification to go off that, hey, he posted it. And if they go that whole day and that notification doesn't come, it's kind of like I lied to you guys, I lied to myself, and that's something that I try to not make a habit of doing. I mean, obviously there's circumstantial things like me not being able to go out and sand the car down today. So if you guys were really looking forward to watching me sand the side of a race car today, I do apologize for the weather. But it keeps me accountable, it keeps me on task. The whiteboard also helps a bunch. And also, I'm not gonna lie to you, watching it grow and, you know, having all the interactions that I get to have with you guys in the comment section and the personal messages you send me, and everything in between, it's a lot of fun. It makes me feel like a rock star, like maybe I'm more important than I actually am. So it's a nice ego boost, confidence boost type deal, that I get to, you know, have all these new friends to kind of talk to and share my experience with. It's really cool. It's really fun. And I love all of it, to be honest. It is kind of time consuming, and sometimes it feels redundant, and there are times where I'm like, dude, nobody is going to want to watch this video. I mean, there's a good chance that I'm gonna feel that way about this when I'm editing it, but there's a good chance that somebody does, so that helps with kind of motivating me to kind of keep doing this. And also it's nice to have something to kind of look back at, because I think sometimes I get too caught up with where I am now and where I want to be that I forget where it all started. So it's nice to have that kind of grounding feeling of I can go back and be like, in less than a year, this is how far we've come, which is, like I said, it's grounding. Excuse me. And then lastly, we'll kind of go into what motivates me. What motivates me to race? I'm just hyper competitive. I don't care if it's cars, racing marbles down a hill, a foot race, game of pickup basketball, cards. If there's something where it's you versus me or us versus them, I want to win. It's just what it is. I want to win. I want to be the best that I can be. I want to be the best there is. That's just the mindset that I have, and I've kind of always had it, where sometimes it gets you in trouble because, you know, you try something, you're not going to be good at everything, and where I think some people go, oh, I'm not good at this, I just won't ever do it again. As I found now that I've started playing golf a little bit, I'm horrible at golf, but it makes me angry that I'm not great at golf. From the first time I swing a club, I want to be competitive with Tiger Woods, and that's obviously not how the world works. So it makes me play more golf. Like, it makes me determined to be the best. I'll never be the best. I'm not delusional or living in a Looney Tune world. But that's just kind of how my brain works, where it goes, why aren't we good at this? So that's kind of what motivates me, is just my psychotic competitive spirit. And I just drive to accomplish something. As I've kind of gotten older, the feeling of accomplishments kind of start to wither away in the, day-to-day life. Because at the end of the day, when your job is done, you don't really feel like, oh, I accomplished going to work today. Not in the way that, if you set out and built a tree house in your backyard, when it was done, you got to step back and look at it and go, man, I did that. That's awesome. So it gives me that sense of accomplishment kind of back into my day-to-day life, of being able to have something be a certain way, or just not having something at all. And then through the hard work and money spent and time away from, doing other things that may be fun or just relaxing or nice, you get to look, or I get to look back and go, I did that. Like, that's an accomplishment. So even just like getting the car to where it would start, and we felt comfortable taking it to a racetrack. Coming from where it was, I got to stand back and look at it and go, man, we did that. Getting it to the track, night 1 or 2, didn't really go the way that we wanted it to. Definitely not the way that we would have planned it or hoped that it would be, if we got to kind of write the script. But at the end of the night, get home, look at the car with the mud all over it, and think back to those days that I was freezing with snot dripping out of my nose, sanding all the old paint off of the car so I could make it my own, and we could go race and do our thing, and all the trials and tribulations that it took to even get out at all this season. I got to stand back and go, we just went out and did a 2-day show. Didn't get the finish or even really to start the race that we wanted, but we did it. We got it there. We got it back in one piece. It went back on the trailer pretty much the same way that it came off. And that's, in any racer's book, that's a good night. So that's what motivates me, just the ability of being able to put that sense of accomplishment back into my life, and also feed that competitive fire that I think if you let that fire burn out, life gets a little boring. So I know I'm 30 and I'm halfway to living in an assisted living home or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But I still got a little fire in me, and I like exercising it. So I hope that this was enjoyable for you guys to kind of be able to get to know me a little bit better. I hope that I didn't ramble on too much. Just sitting here talking in front of the camera and not working on something while talking to it, it's definitely something I need to work on. But this is kind of where we're at with everything, and that's a little bit about me. And I should be coming out with a video with our 2025 plans coming up probably in January. we're taking December off of pretty much everything. So we've got a couple more videos before our break, and then we'll do our hard press charge. So hopefully tomorrow the weather's a little bit better, and we'll see you then.